Meanwhile, Valerie Jarrett, who's consigliere to former President Barack Obama, argued that police should not interrupt knife fights. Quote, a black teenage girl was killed because a police officer immediately decided to shoot her multiple times in order to break up a knife fight. Demand accountability. What would that accountability look like exactly, and who would pay the price for it? Horace Cooper is the co-chairman of the Project 21 National Advisory Board, and he joins us tonight. Horace, thanks so much for coming on. You didn't imagine even a year ago someone like Valerie Jarrett, one of the most powerful people in the world, in public saying police have no right to stop knife fights. I mean, we've moved a long way in a short time, it feels like.
The left is throwing out all of the rules, all of the principles to pursue their objective. And as your discussion with Victor David Hanson demonstrated, they're not interested in the data that shows just how harmful this is. So I'd like to use an illustration. The year's 1995. The trial of the murderer of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman is taking place. What would we think if the governor, Republican Pete Wilson, had suddenly announced that he was personally going to look into this case and called Dan Lundgren, the Republican Attorney General, and said, I want you to get some of the most prominent law firms all over the state to volunteer their times. Together, we're going to bring 10, 15, or $20 million in legal resources to bear because we've got to guarantee that O.J. Simpson is convicted. What would America think that if instead of holding that trial in Brentwood, where he lived and where the crime occurred, and where a large percentage of highly educated jurors would have been there, that they instead moved it to Los Angeles, which is what they did do, so that they could get a different set of jurors. These types of things are examples of what happens when you draw this contrast. We had Derek Chauvin targeted by the state, and that's not due process. Even the due process that someone like O.J. Simpson, who brutally killed 2 people, was entitled to. Why isn't Derek Chauvin?
This is making people radical, as we often say, and that's bad. Horace Cooper, I appreciate your coming on and for your eloquent explanation of that.
Thank you.